Mabel girl, what are we making today?
A mailbox stand.
A mailbox stand. Yes, we are. So, with the new property, we've got a address, and now we need to get mail. So we're making a mailbox stand. Come on over, join us. We've got the world's largest mailboxes, big enough for all those Amazon addicts. So we're gonna put those together, and we're doing some for the neighbors as well. So we're gonna have 4 mailboxes on this stand. It's gonna be quite the establishment. So what we're doing is we're gonna use some pressure treated wood. And we're going to create 2 posts with a kind of beams across the front that'll support the mailboxes, and we're going to dress it up with a little bit of a tin roof over the top of it. So first step, we've already kind of started. We cut a couple of our support pieces here that are going to go on our 4x4s that will go in the ground. So we're going to get started on cutting the tops of the 4x4s at an angle so that our roof has a little bit of an angle. So we're going to set the saw to a 15-degree angle, pretty easy to do. With a miter saw like this, you just set it to 15, tighten it up, and we're all set, and we'll start cutting. Okay, so we've got our post cut with our 15-degree angle on top, and what we're going to do now is mark for our rails that the mailboxes are actually going to sit on. So we are going to measure, we kind of did measure the mailbox. The mailbox is roughly like 15.5, so we're going to do 16 inches. From the low spot to the post. And then when you're measuring like this, sometimes it's easier. We don't have a square edge to put our tape measure up against. So we'll burn an inch, as they call it. So we'll put it at 17, get it perfectly where we want it, and then mark our 1-inch spot. And we'll use our little speed square to get our mark all squared up. So that's on the back. And we'll transfer a mark around the side to the front so we can put the other support on as well. So what we're doing now is we're going to put on the back piece of this board. So you can see we're going to have 2x6s on either side here. This will help support our base of our mailbox, where the mailbox is actually going to mount. It's going to sit kind of like this. So, what's that, baby?
I got one of these for you.
Mabel's putting one of those up there for us, so that's going to help too. But we've already got it all squared up from the front two. So front 2 are right here already screwed on. So in the back, we're going to go ahead and screw these in real quick. No need to really measure them. We'll just line them up with our marks. And if you haven't used these impact drills before, they're the way to go. And we'll run another one on this side before we lock it down. Make sure we got it lined up with our mark. Perfect.
Mommy, can't close this.
Put that, and then that keeps it just from moving it off.
Mommy, can't close this door. The mailbox door. Mommy, can you close this mailbox door?
Perfect. Now we'll get started on cutting the support bases for our mailbox and then affixing them to the top here. So the bottom of the mailbox, you can spend a bunch of money on, like these fancy brackets. I say fancy, but this stuff's all pretty thin stuff. Instead, we're just going to use the pre-marked holes that are in here and some carriage bolts, so it's nice and smooth on the inside so your mail won't get caught. So I just transferred the marks over using the square and did some math and then drilled them, and what do you know, they all match up. So we're going to take this one that's now our template, we'll transfer it over here and drill our new ones. So we'll make 4 of those and then work for our 4 mailboxes. All right, so we've got our kind of first mailbox sort of test mounted where it'll go. You can see our other 3 brackets here. They're all pre-drilled for the carriage bolts. And now we're getting ready to build our little tin roof that'll go over the top of them. So what we're going to do is essentially just kind of create a rectangle that'll sit on top of here. We'll anchor it into this, and then once it's all mounted, we'll screw the tin roof on top. But we are going to get started with that. We need to cut 2 2x4s that are 24 inches long. Those will be the kind of ones on the end that run the span, and then we'll cut the 2 pieces that run in between them. All right, so we've cut our 4 pieces that are going to make up kind of the frame of our roof. Maybe I'll think about putting a support in the center, so we will do that as well. But in order to make these kind of flat joints like this, we went ahead and bought one of these like fancy little Craig pocket jigs. So we're going to give it a try. We used a little depth collar to get our depth right. We've clamped it in place using their little jig, so we should be set there. And now we're just gonna put the drill bit in and get her up to speed. And that's all there is. So we're gonna do 3 on the 3 screw holes on the 2x6, 2 on the 2x4 on each end. And like I said, we probably will do one in the center too, just to be safe. So we're gonna get that going and we'll assemble it here shortly. So we've got our little pocket holes drilled. We've got our screws just kind of tapped in there a little bit. We already assembled that one, went pretty smooth, so we're gonna drill this one in real quick. Just have my beautiful helper here put her little foot up against this. I'll put my foot here. Whoops, didn't do a very good job of keeping that one level. And do the same thing here. Perfect, all done. So we've got our roof built. We did end up putting a center support in. We added a quick post too for the center support. So now everything should be nice. I mean, it's nice and sturdy and solid. Probably the strongest mailbox stand this side of the Mississippi, maybe on both sides of the Mississippi, to be honest. I don't know what happens on the other side of the Mississippi. But anyway, so we got this all done. When we move it over there, we'll drill some holes, set it in the ground, cut the ends if we need to get it to the right height, and then we'll put the mailboxes on, throw the tin roof on, and we'll be all set. But we'll save that all for once it's over there so it doesn't get all dinged up in transport. So should be good to go.